Dr. Hicks to bed 23, Ward J, my pager reads. I need nip checked. So it's the same time, every evening, the same bed, the same patient, the same visitor for the last 4 years. I turn the corner and see the hunched figure, white haired, clutching the hand of the comatose boy, now 13 years old. Since the patient arrived, he hasn't moved, hasn't even twitched. The boy's chest rises and falls in time with the ventilator. Mr. Davies, I placed a hand on the visitor's shoulder. Can I get you something? He doesn't look up, just shakes his head slowly. You're always welcome here, but you don't have to come every night. I promise you, we're taking care of Andy, and you need to sleep. He doesn't reply, just strokes his son's hand. Mr. Davies, I'd really like to introduce you to one of my colleagues from the psychiatric team. She's aware of how you've been struggling since Andy's accident. Mr. Davies? I pause and take a breath. She thinks it might be time for you to let Andy go. He finally turns to look at me. His skin is weathered and wrinkled far beyond his years, hanging across his gaunt face. His bloodshot eyes are sunk deep into his skull. When he speaks, his voice is haggard, rasping. Do you know much about myths, Dr. Hicks? I shake my head. In Japan, they believe that if you can't sleep, it's because you're awake in someone else's dream. He turns back to his son. When that drunk driver hit Andy and my Jeanette, I was sound asleep. But do you know I woke up the second it happened? 3 miles away, I checked the police report, the timestamp for the camera, the exact same instant. And you know what else? For these 4 years, I haven't slept. You had many patients here that haven't slept, not for one moment in 4 years. He's shaking. His grip on his son's hand is tight. I know what you all think. You think that Andy's gone, that what's left is just a shell, but you're wrong. He's still in there. He's still dreaming. His voice softens. And if he's dreaming, then maybe he'll wake up. I look into his face, the face a man would have if he'd spent every moment since the loss of his wife and child awake. No respite from grief, no rest for body or mind, kept in the waking world by some unnatural force. Mr. Davies sets his jaw. Or maybe it won't, and it's plain to anyone that I won't last much longer. But you promised me something, Doctor. He rises to his feet, grips my white coat in his gnarled hand. When you stop seeing me here every night, don't you dare turn that machine off. I might not be here for Andy when he wakes up, but I'm going to give him every second that I can with his dreams.